You're listening to episode 354 of the Sit Down Zumock podcast. 354, shit. I've done a lot of these. Established in 2013. We're still around, baby. Still making it go. It's had its ups, its down, reincarnations, but I stayed the course. A lot of you motherfuckers has switched formats, gave up on your podcast because they were failing. I stay the course, bitches. I keep going. That's life. That's a metaphor for life. Just keep going. Keep going no matter what's in front of you, what obstacle. Go around it. There's going to be some highs and some lows. That's how I live my life. I stay the course. I take chances. I don't live in fear. If the numbers go down, I keep going. I don't give up because those numbers go back up. Like right now, I am a TikTok sensation. I've been on TikTok for almost 2 weeks. I got videos in the millions. I got almost 15,000 followers from out of nowhere because I just stay the course. I don't give up. People come along, a lot of haters. They try to bring you down. They try to shit on you. They try to ruin your reputation. They try to put you in a corner, but I just keep going forward. I go around these people, and that's exactly what this podcast does. I go around you. You want to cause some problems? Do you want to get in the way? I go around and I don't stop no matter what. That's a message for anyone struggling right now in life. Don't give up. Keep moving forward regardless. There's better days ahead. People are going to judge. People are going to try to put you in a corner. You know who you are. You know what you're all about. Rise above it. I didn't mean to come out of the gates this strong, but I wanted to set the tone for today's episode. Like I said, this is a new version of Sit Down Zumock. Every week, we're not going to be as guest dependent. We're going to have guests on. I still love talking to people. I love talking to people, but I also want you to get used to doing other things. We want to go over topics. We want to go over other things. I started this podcast with Tyler, and I'm so happy that I'm doing it with him, and I want to keep building that chemistry with him and making this podcast into something. And it starts with you, all of you that support me, even if you're not signed up to my Patreon. And I understand some people may not have the money, but for everyone that took the time out to sign up for as little as $3, especially the people in the $100 tier, like Donovan, all you guys that support me in that $100 tier, I appreciate it. If you want to sponsor the podcast, I will give you your sponsor. What are you running for? Whatever your agenda is, hit me up. We can talk and I can push it. I can push your product. So hit me up, send me a message. And listen, I've turned down a few of them because I didn't feel comfortable with some of the stuff people were doing or trying to present and trying to push. And I can't fake it. Even though I'm in show business, kind of, or a form of entertainment, I am very bad at faking it. That's why I did not last in Hollywood. That's why I flamed the fuck out, is because I can't fake being fake. I don't have it in me. And as I get older, I see all the bullshit and I see all the nonsense. I get a little bit more jaded and I keep saying I want to be myself. And that's why I continue to move forward, because I continue to be myself. I refuse to conform just because I'm not a part of the popular opinion or quote unquote, what's the cool thing to do. I'm not scared. I don't live in fear. I'm already canceled. I canceled myself when I moved to Florida. You got nothing to take away from me. You can talk all the shit you want. You got nothing to take away. Honda's paid for, baby. What else do you want? So hit me up. I will push your product. Not living in fear anymore. Big business, go fuck yourself. I want the little guys like Silk City Hot Sauce, who is growing by the day. SilkCityHotSauce.com. My man Jeff Lisbine is killing it in the hot sauce department right now. I've been pushing it for a while. I don't need to give you the promo code, but if you're new to the podcast, here it is. Zumock, my last name. What do you get with that promo code? 15% off your order, and you get a free bottle of something Jeff has in his arsenal. This is all organic. He grows it. He makes it from scratch. And if you're on the road, you see me coming to a club or a town near you, and if I have this, come to the early shows because they are gone. They go quick. Speaking of the road, I will be this weekend in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm doing 6 shows, July 15th through the 18th at the comedy. What's the name of that goddamn club? It's on my social media. Go to Instagram. It's booked by the Comedy Zone, but it's going by a different name. I want to get it right though. So let me pull it up if you don't mind. Normally, people would say we're having technical difficulties, but this is a podcast. It's a shit show. This isn't terrestrial radio. I don't have a program director or an operations manager. I don't care if it sounds unprofessional, because that's what podcast is all about. It's called the Carolina Comedy Club. My apologies. This is my first time there headlining. I'm bringing my buddy Matt Carter from down here, great Tampa comic. They're going to be great shows. From what I understand, all the shows sell out regardless on who the act is. So go get your tickets if you live in the South Carolina area. And just announce, I'm headlining Visani's Theater in Port Charlotte, the Comedy Zone there, on July 28th. Come out to that. It's a Wednesday show. And then that weekend, the 30th and 31st, I will be with the great Jim Florentine in Fort Myers at the Laugh-In Comedy Cafe. And check this out. I'm in Visani's Theater in Port Charlotte that Wednesday. Bobby Kelly is there the 29th, 30th, and 31st. And we're 30 minutes away in Fort Myers. So that's a lot of great comedy in that area. I gave Bobby Kelly a plug because I'm a good guy. So you have options. If you live in the Fort Myers, Port Charlotte area, you could see the great Jim Florentine and myself, or you go see Bobby Kelly, or you can just come see me. Lots of shows to choose from. Come to all of them. If you're a baller, you're on vacation down here, come see some live comedy. I don't know what city you're from, but I've been living the good life in Florida. I've been free. I moved here because I wanted freedom, and I've gotten freedom, even though I put myself in a bad position, but we're hoping that will be corrected soon. But I've been able to perform stand-up comedy and not be dictated by our poorly ran elected officials who have gone out of their way to control us and to screw with our lives. So anyways, let's get this show started. Like I said, today we have no guests, but we got some great topics we're going to cover. Check out the rundown when we get back from break. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. That's a wrap. All right, Sit Down Zumock podcast, STZ, in the house, coming live and direct from Tampa, Florida, full effect during a thunderstorm, during a hurricane. It's me, the Z-Man, the Lawson's Chip Dip consumer, the has-been baller, the man in black, Florida's most wanted, Florida's greatest. I'm here with Tyler. Tyler, what's up?
What's up? How's it going, man? It's raining here, but it's not it's no hurricane.
I got an email from Devin asking, what car do you own that you're always in?
It's a Honda Civic. It's a Honda Civic 5-speed. None of that automatic shit.
I like mine. I'm not trying to brag, but I got the automatic Honda Civic, baby.
Do you?
Fully paid for. It's got under 100,000 miles. I am doing well.
I got a little more than 100,000, but it's also paid off. So
I never cared about new cars. I just never gave a shit.
No, I didn't even buy this one new. I'm running it into the ground before I have to go through another car payment.
Yeah, if I don't have to have a car payment, I don't care. I've never been like into cars. I've never been a car guy. When I was on the radio, I had a car sponsor, so I'd get brand new cars all the time, and it was cool, but it was more nerve wracking, like just knowing you could crash it or whatever, which I did twice.
Right.
And then your insurance goes through the roof. So I was like, I just want a shitty car. It's not even a shitty car. It's a nice car. It's like in good shape. So
yeah, I like mine. I don't have problems with it. I had a Honda Accord like when I was in high school. It was a 1994 Honda Accord, and I ran that thing like till I had like over 200,000 miles. I think I went through 2 or 3 mufflers.
Damn.
That was the only thing that ever needed changed, though. I don't know why, but I'll take it.
That's awesome. All right. I want to get, we don't have a guest on this week, guys. I talked in the intro. I don't want the show to be so guest driven because Kevin Brennan said it actually. It's hard getting guests, especially during the summertime, especially coming out of this pandemic. The last thing people want to do is sit on a podcast, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of time that goes into it. And I've had, if you go through all almost 400 episodes, I've had a lot of guests on, and it's just a lot of work coordinating it and trying to put it together. And plus, I kind of want to do something different. I wanted to do something with Tyler, and there's a lot of stuff I like to talk about. And I don't necessarily want to interview somebody all the time. Like, so we're going to mix and match. Every now and then we'll have somebody. And so we're going to do a little bit different. Right, Tyler?
That's correct. Yeah. Like a guy in a car, you know?
Yeah. See, there's not a podcast out there right now. There's a million podcasts, but there's not one podcast where there's a guy in a car each and every week.
I mean, Steve-O.
All right. Well, that's a van or something, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me
rephrase
that. There's not a podcast in the world where there's a guy in a Honda Civic.
I like that.
With a stick shift each week.
I like that. Not with these ratings, at least.
I mean, we're going through the roof. We're talking to sponsors. And again, if you want to sponsor the podcast, reach out to me directly on all social media, or you can email me directly, chadzumock@gmail.com. Very affordable. We will push your product. Tyler's got mouths to feed over there. He has a family. And I have a lawyer.
Every day. Every day. Yeah, you have a lawyer.
And he has a family that needs his kids need fed. So Tyler and my lawyer's kids need fed. And I sign up to the Patreon and hit me up if you want to sponsor. Did you watch the ESPYs?
See, I didn't watch it. That's what I was just looking up, or like the awards and all. Honestly, it's probably been years since I watched.
The only reason I brought that up, I figured you didn't, because actually only 1.1 million people have watched the Emmys this last Emmys. It's an all-time low. Nobody gives a shit anymore. People don't care about these athletes, these actors preaching politics. That's why people are just moving on. I think award shows are done.
Right. And yeah, and I mean, I was going through like the nominees and awards here, and it looks like the people who won like each thing is like kind of who you'd guess.
Yeah, best athlete was Tom Brady.
Right.
Best team was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I really, I was the only reason I wanted to watch the ESPYs, and I think I speak for everybody in the world, is best WNBA player.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I couldn't name one.
And if you didn't watch, I'll just give you the update. Breanna Stewart from the Seattle Storm took home the ESPY. She appeared via Zoom, and it was so exciting.
Hilarious.
And one of the things I love is these acceptance speeches from these athletes and these actors, because they're so deep, and the way they bring in their social justice, they have to put a little social justice twist on it. So, I could turn the channel.
Is LaMelo Ball good?
Again,
breakthrough athlete.
Yeah, he's a breakthrough athlete. I guess so. I'm actually starting to get interested in the NBA now, because the NBA, by the way, because of all the wokeness and the social justice nonsense, the NBA finals are at all-time low in ratings. Game 3 was at its lowest. So people don't give a shit, but I kind of do, because they're two small market teams, which I enjoy. It's not your typical, I'm glad the Lakers aren't there, or the Nets. So, and I like the story of Chris Paul, 36, people were counting him out, and he's going to win, he's the underdog. He almost has like that Rocky story. So I'm paying attention to that. But for the most part, the country as a whole, they don't care anymore. It's going to take a long time.
Well, and it's because of what you said. It's just the whole, they're using this platform to talk about things other than the reason that they're famous in the first place, and that's like, I want to watch you play the sport that you're good at. I don't care to hear your views on it. Again, I'm not on social media though, so I can stay away from most of it, but it creeps into headlines on every news site as well though. So it's just like,
do you know how good your life is not being on social media? Like you figured it out.
Yeah, but I don't have anything to promote or sell, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else would you get the word out that you got a show coming up, in Orlando or whatever.
I think some of these athletes, they would be less polarizing if they weren't on social media. You don't see Michael Jordan on social media. You don't see Peyton Manning, and they were judged by their body of work. And that's the
Right.
way it should be. Like, I think everyone's, can have an opinion, but I hate LeBron because of social media. I hate Kevin Durant because of social media. I hate Kyrie because of social media.
What athlete do you think, if they were on social media, past athlete, do you think would be most surprising? Like, who do you think would be on there and go like, oh, I didn't know that those would be your views?
Well, Dennis Rodman, but he went over
He's
to,
out there.
I mean, he was ahead of the curve with North Korea.
Right. Right.
I know that's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I don't know. I don't follow any athletes. I think, who did I follow on? I think I followed Daniel Booby Gibson on social media.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was about it. Because I don't give a shit what these guys have to say.
I might have his bobblehead in my basement somewhere.
I think everyone had a Daniel Booby Gibson bobblehead.
They sent them to houses rather than just like people showing up. They're just like, just get rid of them.
I got a Booby Gibson story. By the way, he was one of the most accessible Cavaliers in the history of the Cavs.
Really?
So he's always down to do an interview or a radio show. He came on our show. I got to be friends with his cousin Izzy that lived with him.
Okay.
Shout out to my man Izzy down in Houston, H-Town. So I'd hang out with Izzy, and Izzy would come around, and we would go to a local bar near his house. And he lived over in Westlake, but he bought Kellen Winslow, the soldier's old house. Who that's another story. But
Yeah.
but it was a beautiful house. So we go over to this. It was the local Leprechaun and just get hammered. So I would sleep over Booby Gibson's house every day. And that's back when he was like married to Keisha Cole and all that. So I'd come up in the basement, this white dude, and there's like Keisha Cole, and like, who is this guy? I'm friends with Izzy.
What's up? Oh man, that's amazing though.
It was cool, but I never saw Booby at the house. But I did see Keisha. I don't think they're together any longer. But
well,
if those kids can't make it, I don't know who can.
Hopefully me.
Yeah, I mean, you're not dating a R&B singer that's on
not that I know of, but maybe if you like hit a camera in her car, get something out of it.
Something.
She could be a TikTok star like you.
Yeah, you could be a TikTok star like me. By the way, my TikTok videos are on fire. I have over millions of hits. It's out of control, and I still have not downloaded the app, and I have not read one comment.
That's the way to do it.
So go follow it. And I don't know what's going up at any given time, but I am a TikTok sensation. So do you think award shows in general are just done?
It's getting there. I mean, at least until the cancel culture stuff is done, right? Or like fading away. I'd like to think it's starting to. There's a lot of people annoyed with it, obviously, but like, I don't know which voice is louder, the people for cancel culture or the people who are super annoyed with it. But
well, the problem is the people in Hollywood are the cancel culture, and they're the ones running the award show.
That's a good point. Because I mean, yeah. So I guess on that note, like, yeah, because didn't they just do one recently where there's like no host?
Yeah, I think it started with Kevin Hart because they went after him for some old tweets, and he's just like, all right, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
I'm not apologizing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're basically it's been a downward spiral in ratings. They say the Emmy Awards attracted the smallest audience in the last 3 decades last September, while this year's Golden Globes fell to a 13-year low. Experts are already predicting on April 25th, which just passed, Oscars will be the least watched in the modern era. The Grammys were just, everything was at an all-time low because nobody gives a shit anymore. And I think it's entertainment in general because I don't know any of these new artists, and all the new movies are like Marvel movies.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like even with any award show now, it's just a Google search away to see who won, or if you're on Twitter, you're going to see the funniest jokes or whatever that happened from that night. You don't need to sit through a 2-hour award show anymore anyways to see those things. It's going to end up on Twitter or whatever.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know where everything's going, but it's just, I don't know if the cancel thing's going to continue. I don't see how it's going to correct itself. It's there's like no like clear path. There's no clear vision. Like we're coming out. I guess we're coming out of COVID. I don't know. We'll see. But it kind of feels like we are. It feels
Tokyo's not.
Yeah, Tokyo's not. And I I don't know. I don't think I wanted to live this long to see all this stuff.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I always said on this podcast, I wish I was born in the 50s and died in 2015. I felt like that was the best time.
That would be a good time to grow up. Yeah.
Yeah. It was right when social media was coming around strong. And, you know, I got to experience the simplicity of 3 channels, house phones, the good old days.
See the whole thing. And now we got some 70-year-old flying his airplane up to just the tippy top of space, doing backflips. And Elon Musk putting chips in pigs' heads, and like, what's gonna happen in 20 years? It's insane.
I don't know. I just found out he was a rich kid growing up.
Elon? Oh yeah. It was like what, like diamonds or gemstones, or I don't. His dad had was it Austrian? I don't fucking remember.
I don't remember, but I got less impressed when I found out he was just a rich kid. I thought maybe he was just this smart kid who read a lot of books, and just knowing that he had money to play with. Give me, I could come up with some cool shit if I was rich.
Yeah, well, it might have been like an emerald miner.
Yeah, I'll come up with a Tesla if I was rich. I can come up with that idea. I didn't personally design it myself.
He was I think it said like an emerald. Entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. I think it was emeralds emerald mining.
Yeah, if my parents were into emerald mining, I could come up with some cool shit.
It's nuts.
But he was kind of a dork, kind of a nerd, so he kind of pushed himself. I could do that.
You know, Asperger's, you know?
Yeah. I can go on Joe Rogan and smoke weed.
Yeah, that'd be super simple.
Yeah. So, okay, over the weekend, I had I don't know if I was having my period. I don't know what I was going through. I was having a come into woman moment. But I watched the Punky Brewster and Britney Spears documentary back to back. Have you seen any of these?
Neither of them, dude. I know the name Punky Brewster, like, but I'm just now looking it up, going,
Well, she's right around the same age I am, so I kind of grew up with her.
Okay.
It was a show that it would come on Sunday nights. I think it was on NBC. And it was just one of those coming of age. Like, she was a little girl. She was cute. She was like 7 and she was living with some old guy. She was adopted. And it was a big deal. Like, they had Punky Brewster toys.
Okay.
I just remember her because I grew up with her at the same time. We were the same age. And then she went on and, you know, she guest starred in a lot of things. And I guess they just rebooted Punky Brewster. Anyways, long story short, she made a documentary about her life because she videotaped everything in her life, captured everything. So it was kind of interesting in the regard that she chronologically captured her whole life growing up and had the foresight as a child to document it.
Do that, right?
But it was cool to me because she grew up right in my era. So I saw everything that she was going through. I mean, she grew up in Hollywood, so she knew all the celebrities, like Leonardo. Like, her friends were like Leonardo DiCaprio, like Fred Savage from Wonder Years, Winnie Cooper. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And then she's like, then she gets into drugs. She's hanging out with Jane's Addiction. So, and then she went on to hang out with, she documented House of Pain's success when, you know, remember Jump came out, the song Jump. Jump.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it was interesting from a pop culture point of view, because I always thought myself as a pop culture guy, but it was just weird. But my point about watching this thing is afterwards I felt old. I was like, it's the first time in my life I was like, I'm old, dude. You know, she's like, you know, 45. She has 4 kids. She still looks phenomenal for her age. But I'm like, and she's visiting all these people from the past. I'm like, we're old now. Like, it's weird. This is the first time, like, it hit me that I'm old. I mean, you've yet to experience it, but I have it now. I'm like, I'm an old man.
Yeah, no, my time's coming. I wake up every morning feeling old, but that's about it right now. Every morning I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not a morning person at all. I can't do it, but I'm up at like 5:30 every morning, and that's not to even mention, if the kids wake up through the night or whatever. So like by the time the morning comes, I'm real stiff and sore and all that. So I just think to myself, like, well, how's this going to feel in 10 years?
I have a conspiracy theory. I think getting up that early makes you old. There's no science behind it, but I feel like it adds years onto your life. But the only thing keeping me young right now is the fact that I'm a TikTok sensation.
It's true. It's true. Who owns that now? Is it still China or America?
I know nothing about TikTok, and I want to keep it that way. Just like Juneteenth, I don't want to know what it is. Still, I'll avoid it. If somebody tries to explain it, I'll cover my ears. I don't want to know any of it. I there's a lot of things I just want to be dumb and ignorant to, and that just sounded stupid to me. Juneteenth, that sounded like some white guilt shit. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to know. I don't have white guilt. I didn't do anything. I'm a good guy.
Right.
So get that out of there. Get TikTok. I don't want TikTok. I watch a couple of the videos. I never laugh, not once.
Mm-mm.
And even if you don't like my TikTok videos, I could give a fuck. That's fine. Leave a shitty comment. Go say it sucks. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you've had to spend zero time on it, so
zero.
Is it Ari that like will send his tweet or whatever to someone else and they will tweet it out for him?
Yeah, he has somebody running his social media. No, Ari Shafir. I used to do a podcast with him. He's figured it out. He's figured out this game of comedy, the game of life, where he'll just like randomly leave for like 2 months and go to some weird location with no phone
every year, right?
Yeah, and he lives his life. He's the definition of freedom, and I envy that. I hope to get there someday. I hope to make the amount of money where he's able to do that. But that's exactly how I want to live my life. I tell every time I see, all right, so I want to live my life just like you. He's like, do it. I'm like, I don't know Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I don't have that bump.
Yeah, if I get the Rogan bump, maybe. If I'm making $145,000 on Patreon like Tim Dillon, I'll go live my life.
It's funny that you always say that. And then the other day,
I will never stop saying it.
Out of curiosity, though, I typed in Tim Dillon on Patreon. And I was like, oh, no shit. It's like, it says it right there. How much fucking money per month? I was like, well, Jesus Christ. Like, I thought maybe you were running the math or something on how many people versus what they pay per month. No. It's just right there. The information's right there for everyone to see.
I check it once a week and my landlord will tweet it or he'll text it to me just like to shove it in my face. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. And I love Tim Dillon. I love him. I think he's great. He's hilarious and good for him. I'm rooting for him. Any guy who's figured out the system, he's beating the system.
Mm-hmm. It's the way to do it.
Yeah. So I applaud you. I applaud whoever that can. If you don't have to work for a corporation, are you doing this documentary? Is it a corporation or is it an independent contractor?
No, I'm technically full-time under a law firm, and it's the law firm that has been fighting kind of the hospitals and that surgeon that it's about, and they're funding the whole thing because they're paying me.
But you're an independent contractor, right?
You
don't work for the law firm.
No, it's a separate thing from, obviously I'm not delivering papers,
So like, do you think you could find yourself working for a corporation or a business right now in today's culture?
I mean, I did prior to this. I worked for a company called Pro Football Focus.
Oh, that's right.
It's owned by Chris Collinsworth. But even Chris will, get his fair share of shit depending on what he says on Sunday Night Football. And even with all that being said, even when I worked there, it was all guys at the time, all white guys for that matter at the time. So like, wow. So there wasn't a lot of like, had to worry about what you say sort of stuff, but they were like when I was leaving, they were making a push to kind of change those things, bring in some women, bring in some black folks, like that sort of shit. Just, I think that they felt it's only a matter of time before like they start calling us out for not hiring a whole diverse group of people when like, they brought in the people that they should. They brought in, some ex NFL players. Like I worked alongside Bruce Gradkowski for a while, which is funny. And you know, it was a good company. But like I said, on my way out, they started really ramping things up and watching what they say, sort of thing.
Right. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I don't know if you're following what's going on at ESPN right now, but it's like a complete dumpster fire shit show of wokeness. And I realize watching what's going on with Rachel Nichols, Stephen A. Smith, everybody else, and the hypocrisy, the double standards, and people just trying to maneuver to get ahead. I can never, ever work for a corporation ever again. Even back when I was working for Clear Channel, which was a shit show, and I saw how people would maneuver to get ahead and throw people under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact, and if people are watching this, and if I ever apply for a job, use this against me because I don't want to work for your corporation, that I would be shit canned within 1 week. The way people are acting right now, because everybody working for a corporation, especially in TV, radio, any kind of media, they're all afraid. They're all scared to lose their jobs. So they're all falling in line. They're taking that woke. Like I follow sports writers, and they're all going that route because they might not necessarily believe it, but they don't want to lose their fucking jobs. And
right. Well, and also depending on what they say, you know, if it's a journalist or whatever for a company, like they say the wrong thing and their account's suspended on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. And that's, you know, their avenue of making money. So they're kind of forced to fall in line with this shit. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Meanwhile,
on how to fix it.
Going back to what we're saying, there's a reason why ratings are going down is because they're living in fear, but they're like digging their own grave. They're digging their own grave. Like you're literally, and you can't, I realize this because I've been canceled a few times, and including canceling myself. You can't make friends with these people. You can't fall in line because they will turn on you in 5 seconds. They will bite your head off. So you thinking you're going this direction for survival, they will turn on you in 5 fucking seconds if they have to, if it means their ass or getting ahead. So that's why I refuse to do any of that. And sometimes I fall into the unpopular opinion, or people might say some stuff about me. I'll just basically, I said at the beginning of the show, I will just take the uncharted territory. I will take the hurricane waves because eventually it'll be smooth sailing. I'll deal with it because the long-term repercussions of this, I don't want to be some sellout and some guy or some lady like Rachel Nichols right now, who's going to basically get boxed out by this younger lady who's maneuvering to get ahead.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that I just thought about this was because I like UFC, watching UFC and their broadcasts and all that, because they're pretty filterless and they say kind of whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to watch what they're saying. But it struck me as odd because I watched this past Saturday night the McGregor and Poirier fight and all that shit, and the very next day I see like,
dude, I could have won $2,000 on what's his name? Who did McGregor fight? What's his name?
Dustin Poirier.
My buddy goes, if McGregor goes out in the first round, I forgot what the bet structure was. You could make $2,000, and I'm like, and he went down. I fucked up.
Oh yeah, but how much would you have had to spend? You know,
it was nothing. It was like $500.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm not that in. I love UFC. I don't love UFC. I like UFC, but I don't follow it closely enough. So I was like, $500. That's kind of a
right.
I got bills to pay here, so I don't know. But I remember him. He did it.
And ESPN or ESPN Plus is who broadcasts their pay-per-view stuff. And so that's the connection that I just made in my mind, because it wasn't until Sunday morning, I'm just like scrolling through news articles or whatever, and it said that Trump was there at the fight. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see him once because it's ESPN. And
they didn't show him.
No, not a single time.
Meanwhile, there's a clip of Rogan online saying he met Donald Trump, and he said he shook his hand. He goes, it was just kind of, he was caught off guard, and he goes, I tell you what, though, man, they were chanting USA and they were cheering for him loud. It was deafening. The fact that it was deafening and they didn't even show it is just, it's embarrassing.
It's crazy. I didn't think, because I don't care what your thought is. He was the former president, and you didn't show him once. And see, if that were a bet, if you knew going into it that former president is going to be at this event, over under 3 times they show him on camera.
Oh, I would have, knowing this, I would have been like, oh yeah, they won't show him.
Right.
And by the way, regardless of your feelings on Donald Trump, I don't give a fuck. I'm a logical person. I can have a conversation. He's the most popular person in the world, period. He is the most popular person in the world, regardless, or at least the most well known.
Yeah. It surprises me to see other countries like when they're waving an American flag or whatever. What was it? A couple months ago, was it Venezuela or something that Kamala went to, and like the Venezuelan people had like Biden lost, go back home signs up. I'm like, whoa, holy shit. Like, now I don't know what this is going to do to your YouTube numbers here, but
oh, I don't give a shit.
I've just been surprised by it all. Just really, it's a great divide between the two, which just blows my mind.
Well, the problem is these foreign countries. There's a reason why there's a problem at the border. They're fighting to get into this country because of what we had in place and what they're trying to take away. And people who are in this country who, went through the system to get their green cards and to be here illegally, they appreciate it so much more coming from their shithole countries. And they're like, what are you guys doing? You're fucking things up. You have the best, you guys are free and you're trying to ruin it. Like, what are you doing? Yep. I fought to get in this country and there's people that want to be here and we're ruining it. We're dividing it. They're trying to put that, they're trying to put a format in place where the way China's operating, that's the way the world should go. And that's not, it's
sure.
And they're taking away the Constitution, everything that we fought for. And it's scary. And you got people who are just, and I'm not even politically motivated. I'm not, I read, I try to educate myself on it, and I'm not the voice for this, but I have common sense. And I realize what's going on is bullshit and we're destroying our country. And the left's not even hearing the right and vice versa. And the people in the middle, which I consider myself the guy, again, because I don't want to align myself with anybody, religion, politics. This makes sense. That makes sense. And I'll go that direction. And none of this makes sense.
Right. No. Yeah. You said it perfectly. I got nothing to add to that.
Which is a great segue into the next topic. Britney Spears documentary. Now, listen, have you seen it?
No.
I'm in Britney on Hulu. I think you should get the 30-day trial and treat yourself because you thought this country was try being Britney Spears in this country right now. I mean, she is getting railroaded by her father who has control over her finances, her life, and she cannot get it back. And I feel for this girl. Listen, I know there's people dying. There's people going through stuff, poverty, people struggling, but try being Britney Spears for a day. I dare you, Tyler.
Net worth of $60 million and can't.
But she can't. She doesn't have access to it. You understand?
So did she have to originally sign off on that? Like, I don't know how those work.
I don't know the exact details. I think it had something to do with court where her father stepped in when she was going through a mental breakdown.
Okay.
And somehow convinced or manipulated Britney into signing something where he had full control. And listen, she's almost 40. She lives in Calabasas. She's a mother of two. And sure, she married Kevin Federline. But listen, we all make mistakes. You got to keep moving forward, and you got to let this lady live her life because she's being controlled, and it's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a fuck about her. But I think she looks like shit. I
think she looks pretty good.
I don't.
Considering, what she's been through and she's 39, she don't look that bad.
I guess. I don't know. I disagree. I think that if she gets her money, whoever that dude is she's dating is going to try and cash in big time and take it and go. I think he got into that relationship without knowing that she doesn't have access, and now he's just stuck playing the long game.
I love how I forced you into the subject. I put this in here just to make you come up with opinions. And
I wish I knew the names. I don't know his fucking name, but
I knew for a fact you wouldn't have any interest in this topic. And I was like, I'm going to force Tyler to give a counterpoint in this situation. So I watched that documentary on Saturday night. That was my Saturday night. and I did it strictly so I could be informed with Brittany, and I wanted to see you struggle on the subject.
Did you eat ice cream while watching it? Like just like curled up on the couch and maybe play some old Britney songs afterwards?
I did have ice cream yesterday, but no, I did not. I know you want to paint the picture of how it looked,
Uh-huh.
but I was just
Crying,
like,
not sure why.
no, I was actually kind of like interested in this because she's all over the news. And again, somebody I grew up with. It just, plus my ex-girlfriend was obsessed with her. So I kind of was interested.
Hey, man, that's your thing.
That is, we all have our thing, don't we? Are you going to go see Bill Cosby on tour?
So is this for real? Because I know that there's like rumors or him saying that he's thinking about getting back into comedy.
Well, that's what's going around. I guess Noam from The Cellar, I think he was talking to the New York Post or New York Times or whoever. Basically, he came out and said he will not allow Bill Cosby on his stage, just assuming Bill Cosby was going to try to get on at The Cellar, which is kind of arrogant. I think he did that more or less for publicity, but then people start attacking Noam going, okay, well, you let Louis C.K. on the stage, you let Aziz Ansari on the stage. So what do you do?
But I think that's so different than Bill. Bill got out on some technicality, not I mean, not because he didn't commit the crimes. Like, and comparing how many women versus what Aziz and Louis, who else has been in trouble? Like
Aziz, TJ Miller, Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen. And I'm not throwing them in a lump sum. Each situation's different. And
yeah, D'Elia, right? Yeah.
I honestly believe all those people got fucked over. I'm personal friends with TJ Miller, and he told me it was just some jealous ex that wanted to fuck him over. And people just ran with it because it was in the height of the Me Too movement. So he had to just fucking navigate the waters. You know, he lost a lot along the way. Luckily he got his career back, but that's what you got to do is you more or less. But going back to Bill Cosby. Now, if somebody said, Tyler, I got tickets to see Bill Cosby, would you go see it? Would you go see him like now?
I don't know. That is intriguing. You know, if I didn't have to pay.
Free tickets.
I don't know.
To the, what's the theater in Cincinnati?
Theater? I mean,
what's the amphitheater or whatever? The venue. You name the venue. He's coming to Go Bananas in Montgomery. Free tickets.
No, don't drink the drinks there. I don't know, dude. That's really tough because like I was never around for like his early stuff or like even into comedy back then that big to know and have that sort of respect for his early stuff because I mean he was a terrific comedian. God, that's rough. No, I probably wouldn't go.
I not only would I go, I would live tweet it, and I would hope OJ Simpson was there so I could get a photo. That's how crazy I mean, I think it'd be hilarious. Listen, what he probably did was horrific, but at the same time, I can like look past things.
What do you think that he would talk about?
I mean, I would like to think he would talk about what happened. I think that would be something. Every time something bad happens in my life, I try to put it into a comedic format. I try to find the funny. Like I'm trying to find the funny on the credit card shit. So I've been trying that stuff out on stage, and it's not going well, but I'm trying to maneuver. But you try to take something. But my situation's a lot different because I never raped any women. So I don't know how you turn raping
more
women,
than a handful.
Yeah, I don't know how you make that funny. That's going to be. We'll see how great of a comic he is if he can turn that.
Yeah, if he's able to do something with that and get a career back on the line, then you know what, let him have it. But
yeah, because I mean, I'm doing pretty good with the alleged credit card stuff, and I'm trying to turn that into an angle. But I don't know if I can make raping a woman funny.
It's a tough one, man.
Yeah, you got to be a very skilled comedian to pull that one off.
Even Tosh got in trouble for that, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was just a dumb joke. It was just him. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be better if he actually did it and talked about it.
Yeah, like Louis, like his last special, and I got the opportunity to open for him in Nebraska when I was driving back from LA, and he started out his special. He got on stage. I forgot, but he addressed it right away, like, and I'm gonna fuck this up. Go watch a special. He goes, if a woman asks you to if you ask a woman if you can masturbate in front of her, and she says yes, and you say, "Are you sure?" and they say yes, don't do it.
No shit.
Yeah, that's how he opened his special. It was really funny.
Hilarious.
So, okay, well, hey, listen, let's wrap it up with this, because I was kind of going through some live music and some of the concerts that are coming out. What band do you want to see live again? Because live music's coming back. I was just at a bar like 2 weeks ago for the Bolts game, and there was a band playing, and it was so awesome to hear live music again. And I was like, damn, what bands are out there would you love to go see if you had the opportunity?
I'm a fan of a band called Minus the Bear. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Pulling them up.
Years and years ago, I went and saw them, House of
Rock
Blues in
band.
Cleveland. They had Portugal the Man open up for them, and it was fantastic. And
They're from Seattle, Washington.
it would be awesome to go and see them again for sure. I just like their style.
I'm gonna check them out. I'm actually bookmarking this because I'm looking for some good rock bands to listen to, man. I want rock music to make a comeback.
Me too. And like everything's just so digital now, though. You know, I don't know. It's obviously not impossible, but no one's going to like recording studios anymore. And there's like some really awesome recording studios with some great acoustics, and you can get some awesome drums and all that shit. But now people would rather just use, GarageBand or, whatever else.
Well, it's an easy way. It's like today's club DJ. They're just hitting the laptop. It's just cheating, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm a purist. I like a guy who took millions and millions of hours in his craft to be a master at his instrument. I want to see that. I want to see another Jack White. I want to see fucking another Slash. I want to see that next guy, that next rock star. I'm going to say right now, this is going to surprise some people. Maybe it won't. I want to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers live, because they return with their guitar player, John Frusciante, who I'm a fan of. And from what I understand from an interview I just saw online, that they just recorded an album, and they said they want to get back to rock music, just making a rock songs. I go, that's interesting. And he's like,
awesome.
Yeah. It's a big band, and these big bands are dying. They're going away. I think AC/DC plan on a tour. I don't know if that'll happen. Who knows how long? I mean, the Rolling Stones might be going on for another 50 years, the way they're going.
Dude, they won't die.
Yeah. But I really want to go see some live music this summer, man. I'll throw down a couple shekels to see a band I want to see.
Yeah. I was trying to think, because you talked about wanting to see actual artists rather than like a DJ or whatever. That was my DJs. First initial thought of what's the dude's name? Girl Talk, was that the name? And
I heard of them.
It was like one guy, I thought, and all he ever did was mash up other songs. Yeah, just an American disc jockey. Girl Talk, just one dude.
And I'm not against it, like a skilled DJ, like an old school like mix master mic that
could actually like scratch.
Like scratch, turn around, turn 2 records going back and forth, Jam Master J, DJ Hurricane,
that's
DJ
awesome,
Lord.
There's talent to that. I don't see any talent to grabbing a bunch of MP3s of other songs and running it through some software.
Like DJ EV, that fucking tool from Cleveland.
I'm familiar with the name.
EV, yeah, that's coming from me. That guy stinks as a person and a DJ. He hung his whole fucking career on Machine Gun Kelly.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's like his claim to fame. And he's just a weaselly guy. I don't like him. I feel names.
Like I could be totally wrong, but I feel like he's got a rich dad or something.
Oh, he seems like it. He seems like a guy whose dad had a lot of money.
Right.
But I tell you what band I wanted to see before the pandemic shut down, and because I've seen them 5 times, and they were all 5 times incredibly awesome, was Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that'd be
fucking incredible.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just the band is just, I mean, all the hits, it's just in your face. And I guess they were going on to, I guess they're going to go on tour in 2022 with Run the Jewels. And I hope that happens. I will throw down $200 to see it.
I think that'd be an extremely fair price.
Yeah.
For Rage. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm down for that. All right, Tyler, your website's right below you, so people can go there for freelance work. What's
hit me up.
What's all the work you do? So if people wanted to inquire your services,
any sort of like 2D animation stuff, any sort of animations really, and not like cartoons or anything like that. That would just take up way too much time. Video work, video editing, any sort of audio work, cleaning audio up, podcasts. And then there's any sort of like product photography, anything like that. That's kind of harder. If you're trying to, you'd have to kind of be near me for shit like that. That's the gist of it, really.
A man, he can pretty much figure out anything. He's a technical wizard. He's a guy with an opinion. Hit him up. Bookmark his website. I got a new website coming, chadzumock.com. That's in the works. Yeah, it's not going to have anything on there that's interesting. Just go to my social media. More importantly, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/sitdownzumock. And somebody hit me up on my live yesterday or say, hey, dude, I can't afford Patreon. I just lost my job. I just got out of medical whatever. Dude, all you got to do, listen, share. If you see my post, share it, retweet it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. That's how you can help me out. We're out here. Like I said, I'm never going to work for a corporation. I'm a freelance guy. I'm out here fighting the fight, going against the grain, saying the unpopular opinion. So if you like what I'm doing, like what Tyler and I are talking about, sign up for my podcast for free. Do whatever you can. But that's a wrap. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. We may or may not have a guest.